Well, here we go, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to more esports talk. Now, the very first, very public figure, I should say, and a former pro himself, that's going to be Call of Duty member known as Killa, actually formerly of Optic Gaming. That was probably his most well-known time in Call of Duty. Now bringing to light with the Washington Post an issue which has been ever impending, not only in Call of Duty, but also in esports, as he has made some bold claims, along with several pros in this great read. I will link this down below for all of you guys, but it's really been talked about widely. I would say Call of Duty almost notorious for the Adderall rumors. All the threads out there, the forums and Reddit have been all about this. People like John not participating in CDL for undisclosed reasons, and a lot of other things. I mean, even pros have hinted at Adderall usage in Call of Duty for quite some time, right? This is no secret. It's actually now been brought to the very, very public eye, though, I would say for one of the first, if not the first times, by a former Call of Duty pro himself. A lot of people out there taking the time to kind of knock on Killa and his actual, credentials to actually say these kind of things. There are many other pro players who attest to similar things in the article besides Killa. I'm going to start it off in a Call of Duty-like video, though, because he comes from the Call of Duty scene. He is a former pro, and he actually does admit that he has witnessed it himself several times, and albeit whatever you guys think about his skill level, what do you think about his time when he was a Call of Duty pro himself, whatever you think, if he was using or not, it does not matter, guys. He is now a witness and a bit of a testimony to the issues that have been ever impending, not only in Call of Duty. Actually, this article as well, they address foreseen issues and also previously seen issues of Adderall usage in Call of Duty, in Overwatch, in CSGO, in Gears of War, in Halo, and others as well. So it's not only a Call of Duty issue, it's an esports issue, and this is definitely going to be probably the start of the large wake to ever ensue of potentially drug testing in esports, which I think, I'm all for it, clean up the sport, but it's going to be a very, very wild time to see if other pro players start to get caught of this and what results do change if other TOs actually crack down. If I'm being honest, guys, before we get into the actual quotes of the article, do I think TOs will crack down instantly? No, it's probably going to take quite some time. It's very expensive to test for these kind of things, and a lot of TOs out there, quite simply and quite frankly, probably can't afford it or just don't have a need to do it right now. But I would say most obviously in the article, it is Killa taking out, and there are other quotes as well from other pro players, but he does actually come out exclusively with Washington Post and say very frequently claims that Adderall abuse is there with other pros, and the reason why it was too hard for him to actually keep up and compete is because so many other pros were using Adderall so heavily. And I think his most bold statement obviously being that he stated nobody talks about it because everyone is on it. As of right now, I can only capture for you guys some Call of Duty pro player responses out there, Slasher being one, Abizi being another. Obviously, there'll be plenty of pro players out there who are clean, that not using substances and don't need to use substances, and that's why it's all the more, I think it's a great topic to bring up, because with this, we're going to see a lot more eyes, a lot more talk about some particular pro players out there who maybe have accusations coming their way. What I am worried about, though, is because it's so word of mouth right now, proving these kind of things is so hard without a test being placed. It's going to lead to more Reddit rumors, more Twitter rumors out there, more kind of talk of the town without actual evidence of people saying, I think he's on it, I think she's on it, he's definitely on it, without even having any evidence to back it up. That's what I am worried about. But again, this article goes on to talk about multiple esports dealing with this. For all of you CSGO fans out there as well, we have seen rumors about this stretching back to the Cloud9 rumors, and that's where the debate really did begin. Is there an actual performance enhancement when it comes to taking ADHD medications, whether it be Vyvanse, whether it be Adderall, whether it be Ritalin, or other substances as well, which this article does touch on. I'll give you guys my opinion. You guys can leave yours down below. But again, don't take my opinion to heart, because I'm not a pro player. When I do see it, though, when it comes time for a tournament setting, and in particular settings out there where you're playing over a long period of time, if there is any medication which you should or should not be taking, it doesn't matter. We're talking about, does it actually enhance your performance? Well, if you can play longer and have more attention for a longer amount of time, I myself personally, over a long tournament setting, whether it be 1, 2, 3 days, I find it that if you are on medication, whether you should or should not be on it, that seems to be a pretty high advantage over players who are not on it or deciding not to take it. And again, in this article, we have pro players who say there is no effect, there's some effect, and there's a large impact on actual performance with if you're not or you are taking these drugs. So you guys can leave your thoughts down below. That's just my stance on it. Of course, we're gonna have to kind of judge a lot more pro players on this, because that's where it matters. Now, also closing out about this, when it comes time for drug testing currently, no one really does it besides ESL. They've actually made their own statements about this in the past. They spent upwards of $40,000+ every single year just to drug test pros. A lot of those pros we see drug tested have come from Counter-Strike, Besides that, though, we have the Esports Integrity Coalition. They do it intermittently, but we have never seen a TO out there constantly drug test, because if you were to constantly drug test, especially when it comes time for Call of Duty amateurs, that's hundreds of pros. Fortnite amateurs and Fortnite online qualifiers. Of course, online you can't, but when it comes time for LAN events, for, you know, all these DreamHack events and gigantic TOs, you can't drug test everybody, so it becomes intermittent, and it also becomes super expensive. I don't know, this puts us in a very weird spot overall for this preliminary video. I've been trying to work on this video for quite some time. Thanks to Washington Post, though, for actually, you know, giving me the substance to actually put it out there. This is an early on video, right? We're definitely going to face more accusations, more evidence, hopefully more progress towards actual drug testing out there as well. As of right now, no one is really doing it and as a full-time basis because it's too expensive and it's too tedious. Do I think anyone's going to get caught anytime soon? No. Do I think any pro players are going to fall off anytime soon because all of a sudden they stop taking their medication or their non-subscription medication? No, but it could be a thing in the future. And yeah, we have Killa, other pros now coming forward about this, guys. The ever underlying issue of Adderall and other substances in esports. You know, will this drive a change in the future? I hope it does. Should we have more of a clean scene? Yes. If we want to be legitimate here in esports and gaming, we got to follow suit of the way that traditional sports do. You got to drug test everybody, including a lot of our players and pros who are quite obviously, by a lot of accounts out there, using things they maybe should not be. Until next time, hope you guys all enjoyed, though. Have a great, safe weekend, everybody. All right? Drink your water, drink your coffee. You're allowed to drink those all you want. Until next time, take care. I'll see you guys back here sometime soon.